All right, y'all, I am here again. I never in my life want to talk about Joseph Budden or anything related to him this much ever again in my life. I am so tired. In the meantime of me uploading the other two videos, I get on Twitter or I follow Jessie Woo on Twitter and I see her repost Olivia J. I'm like, who in the heck is that? Go and click on her stuff and it's like, why I left the Joe Budden Network. And I'm like, who is this? I told y'all, I don't really pay attention. If y'all watch any of my other videos, not the last two I did, but before that, I said that I don't watch anything else like on his channel. Like I don't watch any of the other podcasts. So I know nothing about this one. I cannot I'm not going to speak too much on it because I don't know anything about it. I didn't watch the show. I don't know. All I'm going to say is that Joseph is an asshole, okay? Joseph is an asshole. He's a misogynist. He is extremely inappropriate. All of those things are true. So, if sis said that she felt uncomfortable and he was doing some shit that made her feel uncomfortable, then that's not right. It's incorrect. It's wrong. Joseph, you need to go and figure that out. You need to go. I don't know if they have an HR person, but they need to get an HR person. He needs to be trained, especially if you're going to be dealing with women. That's why I was really even surprised that there were, well, I guess it's not surprising that women would want to work with Joe Budden. I guess it was just a little bit surprising to me that as many. No, I don't know. I guess I would say, yeah, I guess I would say it was a little surprising to me that you had some women that were actually willing to work with Joe. Like, it's one thing to me, like, to, like, maybe listen to some of his stuff or maybe watch some of the stuff that he do, but to actually get into business with Joe seems like a lot. Similar to P. Diddy, I would never get in business with Joe Budden because it just seems like everything he touches, it blows up and it is big, but then there's also always so much bullshit behind it. So whoever that young lady is, I think her name is Olivia. I hope you get the therapy that you need, the help that you need. I hope that you are able to move past this. I hope that this does not define your life, does not define who you are. And as far as Joe is concerned in this situation, Joe, you need to get a lawyer ASAP. You need to get an HR person ASAP, and you need to be retrained because it's different working with men versus working with women. Those are two different things. The way that you talk, the reason why it's not to me even far-fetched anything that she said, even though I didn't watch it, is because I hear how Joe talks on his own podcast. So hearing how Joe talks on his own podcast, it is not far-fetched for him to be making a woman feel uncomfortable, at all. It's not far-fetched. I hear the shit that he's saying on his own podcast. So again, to Olivia, hope she gets everything that she needs. I hope she's able to get past what she needs to get past. Whatever the case may be, I hope she really gets all of that figured out. And Joseph, you need to get some help, and you need to get that figured out ASAP before you have forget the lawsuit part. You can't be on your podcast talking about how much you want to protect black women and black women this and black women that, black women that, and you are constantly accused left and right of either putting your hands on a black woman, disregarding them, treating them wrong. We ain't got time for none of that. Get it together, Joseph. Get it together. So that's that on that. I'm really here to talk about the response that Joe did to Rory and Mal's response video, and then I'm also here to talk about a couple of things of what Savon and Alex said on their Need to Know podcast. So let's go there. Okay. Ooh, I need to go. Okay, so there was two different videos, okay? Both of the videos of Joe is him on Instagram or whatever, and he's kind of like talking to people are asking him questions. So the very first video that he do, I think he was on vacation, and he was like, I'm not gonna sue them, like I know I said I was gonna sue them, but I'm not, which lands into my whole thing about angry Joe bag. When Joe get angry, he just be saying what the fuck ever, which is a terrible trait of his. He also said that in regards to the $400,000, there was no $400,000 mistake. We'll get there next. He said that if they felt like there was a $400,000 mistake, then they should have never continued in the first place because that's just egregious. He said that I just don't like how y'all sat up there and they called me a thief. And I guess somebody commented and was like, he didn't say that like y'all was a thief. He said that the accountant people was thieving, and he was like, no, y'all didn't say I was a thief, but y'all implying it. You're implying it pretty much. Joe also said, Although you are, even if you weren't accusing me, like, you got to be careful of who you're accusing, because I guess it's like some big conglomerate or whatever, whoever they deal with their money. And he still said that at the end of the day, it's still a job for them, like, to come back if they want to. And that, in his opinion, after watching that video, he felt like they still don't get their contract. Then he did a second video and he talked about the whole title deal situation. Now, he said the reason why he got mad at Rory is because Rory does not have the right. Number one, Rory doesn't have the right to go and talk to people about the business as far as a whole. That's why Joe is the owner. But he also said that he had already been talking to people from Tidal and he had already told them, like, this is what I want, this is my number, this is what we'll accept, this, that, and the third. So Joe was like, so Elliot pulling you to the side, that's just to kind of get, that could possibly get to, you know, that could possibly be to get some more information. Not on like some slash it, it's just business shit. Like, if one person say no to you, maybe you can talk to somebody else. And he said, that's why I felt some type of way. Like, you're not even technically allowed to even speak on the business of Joe Budden podcast. You're just a profit partner. You don't actually get to make any decisions. So I guess that's why he was mad about that. The $400 payout, he said that was prorated from, that was a payout from Spotify, and it was prorated over 2 years. If y'all don't know what prorated means, I don't really know how to explain it. I should know how to explain prorate, because when I worked for like a cable company, we had to explain all the time how we prorated people bills. It's like, oh my gosh, how do you explain prorate? Prorate is just kind of like, damn, but I haven't worked for that job in like 3 years, so I really can't remember exactly how to explain it. But it's kind of like when you paying like ahead of time, kind of, sort of, or you can prorate the bill and it goes backwards. Like, you can prorate like a credit for somebody and give it to them like for the past couple months. I really don't know how to explain it, and my mouth hurts and I got a headache. Anyway, Joe did go and apologize on his podcast with Ice and Ish, and he apologized specifically to Rory for talking crazy, which he should have, because Rory was talking, I mean, he did talk crazy about Rory, and it was extremely, extremely unnecessary. Are you serious right now? Where am I at? Because now I'm lost. He apologized, yeah, for talking crazy to Rory, which he should have. Then when we talk about the Need to Know podcast, which is with Savon and Alex, or whatever, he said that a lot of the things probably came off wrong, and he told Joe that simply because people do not know Joe, so they're just going to automatically, I swear to gosh, if you kick this, I'm going to smack you. I'm 2 seconds from smacking you. Get out. Sorry, y'all. Anyway, so yeah, so Savon was like, I told Joe off top that I feel like he got to be careful because it's going to come off the wrong way. A lot of these people, all these people do not know you, period. So some of the stuff that you're saying, like, for example, I think he brought up, like, when he said that, like, Rory's like a fucking asshole, or he's fucking stupid, or something like that. Savon was like, when I heard it, I said to him, this is not going to come out right. And I think Savon was supposed to edit that part out, but he didn't, or he forgot to, or something like that, which is what Joe, like, touched on his podcast with Ice and Ish. He was like, if I tell y'all to edit something out, y'all got to edit something out, and y'all not is fucking shit up. But at the same time, Joe, just watch your mouth. If you don't talk crazy about people, we wouldn't have this problem. But I understand shit happens. Savon and Alex also talked about how at the end of the day they got bills. Savon just got this nice ass, big ass fucking apartment in the Sky High or whatever, and Alex has bills and Parks has bills. Everybody here has bills to pay. And by y'all two, and again, this is where the point of contention comes up about whether or not they decided or not, whatever, regardless of the situation, y'all not showing up and y'all not working means that everybody else doesn't get paid. And that's what I'm saying as far as Marl is concerned. I said I didn't agree when he said that we should have stopped the show. Oh, people do that all the time. Okay. No, people actually don't do that all the time. And it would be one thing. Y'all could stop the show if it was just y'all three. But it's not just y'all three. It's y'all three. It's Parks. It's Alex. It's Savon. It's all of these other people that are connected to this business that, like they kind of brought up, if you go to any other job in the world and somebody says they don't want to come in, that doesn't mean that the whole business closes down. That does not mean that. Even if the owner can't come in. Like, for instance, my job. I work in a small business. My owner, she has, like, you know, like health problems or whatever. Just because she doesn't come in or just because she doesn't necessarily clock in that day, that doesn't mean that the rest of us gets to stop working. We don't get to stop working because you want to know what? If we stop, we don't get paid. That's just how it goes. And this is not even in like trying to be an employee thing, because I also forgot because Joe brought this up too in his second video when he was like, Rory's talking about some, we not going to take this check to give it to everybody else. And he was like, that's not your job. Like, at the end of the day, that's not your job. That's not for you to do. I'm going to make sure that these people get paid. And why is it now all of a sudden you want to jump up and be like, oh, let me put up some money to pay everybody else when you wasn't doing it before? I kind of get that. But I get what Rory was trying to do. He's coming from a good place. But I also get what Joe was saying at the same time. So, yeah. Everybody had to get paid regardless of the situation. No matter how y'all look at it, people had to get fucking paid. And y'all two not coming in for 6 weeks. That's 6 weeks of checks. Possibly if they get paid every week, that's either 6 weeks of checks, or if they get paid every 2 weeks, that's 3 weeks of checks that nobody is getting. And nobody has time to be sitting up here and not working because Maul is in his feelings and is going to feel some type of way because everybody else keep moving on. And the only reason I say Maul is because Rory said on the podcast he didn't mind them going forward and doing more podcasts. And that's because Rory more so gets it from a business side. That's why I said to me, Maul is more coming at this more emotional about it than Rory is. At the end of the day, niggas have to get paid. Period. One monkey don't stop the fucking show. Point blank period. It is just that simple. So yeah. Yeah, so Savon and Alex is looking at them like, where the fuck is y'all at? Alex thinks that Rory and Maul stepping away was them testing the waters to see what the fuck Joe would do. And that's their opinion. Alex said that that's just his opinion. He feel like they pretty much stepped away and be like, oh, you feel like you can do this on your own? Because, Joe will be quick to try to make it seem like that. And they wanted to show him, okay, well, do it on your own. And he was like, I think they did it to try to see, all right, Joe want to treat us like this? Let's see him scramble. And he actually did. And that's kind of where, if that was their idea, that's where they fucked up, because y'all didn't take into consideration what if it actually works. And the way that I think academics broke it down is facts. The first week Ice and Ish was on there, nobody was here for it. Thumbs down, all crazy. Second week that they was here, still not here for it. Third week, starting to settle in as a fan, like, all right, maybe these niggas ain't really coming the fuck back. And what are we gonna do if they don't? As the consumer, and I'm talking as a consumer, somebody who watches the show. If Rory and Maul don't come back, then what? Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just stop watching? Like, that's kind of crazy. And then by week 4, it's like, oh, these niggas kind of hit their stride for real. Okay, all right. They're a little older, so you're not going to necessarily have that fresh point of view all the time. But you want to know what? For the time being, I can rock with this. And then they did their Kevin Samuels interview, which is what really, I think, solidified Ice and Ish's place as being like, they can actually do this. Because they did pretty good. Specifically, Ice did really, really, really good on... No, was it Ice or Ish? I can't think of which one. Because, see, I can't remember. Which one is Ice? Ice is... I think Ice was the one. Yeah, Ice is the one who did really, really good on that one. So by that point, I think everybody... And then specifically when they had their own drops, that's when I was like, oh, I don't think Rory and Maul are coming back. Because whatever the reason would they have their own drops for? So maybe that was their plan. But if so, it backfired like hell. Where we at? And yeah, so I just feel like 6 weeks is too long to be going. Like I said, I gave my conclusion on my last one about how I feel about everybody, but I could say it again. Joe was wrong for how he talked to them and about them on the show. He shouldn't be uptight as fuck about the accounting. He should have just let them see it. He should have told them that he felt the way about their lack of helping throughout the business, because he talked about that a couple times. And he should have been clear on whether or not they would still be potting when they took time off. Rory, I feel like, got ahead of himself, and he thought he had more say than he actually did. And to me, he didn't capitalize off of the show the way that he could have. Like, you see how Savon and Alex, how they have their own podcast, whatever, and they talked about how Joe don't have any say over them. Joe don't tell them what they can and can't say. Joe don't say y'all can't go out and do your own thing. He let them rock. Rory could have did the same thing. He did not. Maul could have did the same thing. He did not. And then Maul, like I said, to me, he's a little bit too sensitive. I don't understand how Biggs is your brother and you let this stupid shit slide for as many years as you did. Yeah, and I think everybody's wrong. I think everybody at the end of the day is wrong across the board. Everybody is wrong. There's not one right person in the situation, and that's just that on that. I'm out. Bye.